My name's Tanya Brunner. I am an alumni of Northwest State. Used to be called Northwest Technical College when I attended here, and my degree was in business management. Northwest was an absolute blessing for me. I was working full-time. I had children. I lived in this Northwest State, the Northwest area, and having a college in your own backyard was fantastic because I was trying to wedge so much into one day. I loved business management. I took a lot of evening courses, but my instructors actually did what they were teaching. My person who taught law actually he was a lawyer. My person who taught business entrepreneurship actually owned a business. I liked that the instructors, number one, knew the field they were instructing in, and number two, that they understood that we were students who had so many things balancing that they were considerate of that any homework we did, any projects we did really applied to the subject. When your instructor actually does what they're teaching, they know more intimately the details, they know the funny stories that lighten the class, and they understand some of the finer points of what they're teaching. Textbooks may be good, or other instruction manuals may be good, but when they have done it and they've had to apply the psychology of dealing with people or how you deal with government regulations, these are things that sometimes textbooks don't always explain. Instructors who do what they teach, they're able to give you a product that you can take and actually use in the workforce. I got a great education. Some courses were very hard for me, but I learned from them. I absolutely struggle with statistics, but I learned a lot, and the instructor we had explained it well. And it wasn't my favorite course. I don't think I did great in it, but when people talk about statistics, I understand how you can manipulate, how you can refine it, what the strength of statistics are, what the weaknesses are, and why they must exist. So I took some of those subjects, not just in my business life, but in my personal life, and how I dealt in how I went on in life and became, what groups I chose to be active in, what were passions of mine. I used it as a full thing, not just for what I do in my profession, but what I do as a human being. I've been 24 years the County Veterans Service Officer in the Defiance County, an honor, truly, and before that I worked at City Hall in Defiance. I've also done factory work, I've done retail work, and I've done waitressing. That's been a full enchilada. Each one of those things taught me things about life and about people. But in my job now, I manage an office which is there to connect benefits to Armed Forces veterans, to include their surviving spouses and their dependent children. When I was working at City Hall, and I was getting my degree in business management, and one of the ladies there said, "Tanya, the Veterans Office is hiring. You're a Navy reservist, you've got your degree, you should go over there." And I went, "Oh, I'm sure I'm not qualified." She said, "You're working with numbers, you should be working with people." So I owe a great deal to the lady who kind of encouraged me to go forward and to try for the job. And she's right, my forte is working with people. I liked the personal touch that Northwest State had. I liked the idea that you could approach any instructor, anyone. You had access to the president on down to talk with them if you had an issue, to discuss things with them. And one of the things that happened when I was here was the Persian Gulf War broke out when I was a student here, and that was in 1990. And I was almost like 3/4 of the way through what was then quarters, today's semesters. And I went to my instructors and I said, "I don't want to lose all this. I've done almost all the work, but yet tomorrow I may be told to get on an airplane and leave." And those instructors, they took it seriously. They came to me and they said, "We won't allow that to happen. We will work with you. We will make sure that the time that you put in here is credited to you." And I was so grateful for that. I was able to finish the quarter out, but I could have easily been gone, and they weren't going to abandon me as a reservist or a National Guardsman or anyone who's been in the service who has the potential to be recalled. the school was willing to work with that. There are so many times people tell you as a veteran that they fly the flag and they say, we love our veterans. But this was where that had to become an action step. I felt as a veteran that this college supported me in many ways. And one of them was they were going to work with me if all of a sudden I had orders to go protect the country. I am amazed at the courage of human beings. I think that's the thing I have learned. I have been with World War II veterans, the Korean, Vietnam, the peacetime veterans, now our younger veterans. Courage. And they embolden my own courage because of theirs. You know, you think of courage as being on a battlefield or being on a football field, but courage is facing what life throws at you and getting up the next day and handling whatever you've got to handle. And I think that's the favorite part of my job, is seeing the amazing courage in every human being I've ever dealt with. Even if they don't see it within themselves, they are brave and they are going on with life. And that's my favorite part of it, is they help me to be a better human being.